Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. So, today, as you can tell by the title, I will be recommending Netflix shows that I think you should go and watch. Some of this I think are underrated, and yeah, these are like the shows that I've liked so far on Netflix that I think deserves more recognition and love and support and appreciation. And let's get right into it. So the first one is Alice in Borderland. Obsessed gamer Adisu suddenly finds himself in a strange, emptied-out version of Tokyo in which he and his friends must compete in a dangerous games in order to survive. So it is based on a manga. It is cool AF, you guys. So each episode they play a game, and if you must survive the game, because if you don't, there are some pretty serious consequences, like I don't know, like dying. The first two episodes were my absolute favorite. They were very thrilling to watch. I was on edge the whole time while watching it. The reveal in the last episode was cool AF, and I can't wait for the second season. So yeah. Next one is Archer. Is about Sterling Archer, the world's most successful covert espionage agent, tackles the art of spycraft and patented brand of irreverence, unchecked indulgence, and broad humor. I discovered this show through a thread on Twitter, and I thought that the art style or the animation was interesting, so I went ahead and checked it out. And back then, what I do is that I usually watch the first episode of a show, and then I base on that to decide on whether should I watch the whole show. And for this one, I ended up loving it because the first episode was very funny, it definitely has a dark humor. So yeah, it's kind of like my guilty pleasure watching this because the humor is very dark. So I don't know if that's something to be proud of, so if you're into that, this show is for you. I still remember the very first episode. It was really something.
Picture her dead in the gutter.
Darling!
And what your pathetic life will be like without old mommy dearest.
Jesus Christ!
What is
He's
it?
got an erection! What?
Next one is called Better Call Saul. The series follows Goodman as a forceful champion for his low-income clients and an underdog whose ethics and ambitious nature often clash together. I'm a fan of the Breaking Bad series, so it was kind of a no-brainer that I would watch this one next. But it's very different from Breaking Bad. It's a spin-off show for Walter White's ace attorney, Saul Goodman. And this is on a slower pace. So yeah, but the build-up is good and the characters are all well written. And it's a smart show and I love it. And I think you guys should watch it because it's a brilliant show. The next one is BoJack Horseman. The animated story of a notorious 90s fan of sitcom star named BoJack Horseman who's been trying to navigate his way through mild alcoholism and self-esteem issues for the last 18 years. BoJack teams up with his human sidekick Todd and his feline agent and ex-paramour Princess Caroline to stage the ultimate TV comeback. So expect that if you ask a show recommendation from me, BoJack Horseman will always be in mind. This show is so personal for me and it's so good. All the characters are so well written. It's funny and also serious at the same time. It tackles on different issues like depression, alcoholism, and the dark side of Hollywood, stuff like that. And yeah. Next one is Dark. When two children go missing in a small German town, its sinful and past is exposed along with the double lives and fractured relationships that exist among four families as they search for the kids. So it's weird, mysterious, dark, and twisted. For me, I think it's one of the smartest shows out there. It challenges the audiences, it keeps them guessing and intrigued, and it has one of the most satisfying endings ever. And yeah. Next one is Grand Army. 5 students at the largest public high school in Brooklyn take on a chaotic world as they fight to succeed, survive, break free, and seize the future. This one is criminally underrated. It's kind of like Euphoria minus the famous A24 lights, the aka bisexual lighting, and minus the artsy nauseous camera movements. It's dark, it's heavy, and it's serious. It's a good show, but I have to warn y'all that it gets really heavy. Like, you're watching an episode and at the end you're either crying or you're having a panic attack. Like, I'm not kidding. There are some scenes here that can be triggering since it tackles on different like social issues. All the five different characters has their own, storylines, and they kind of represent different like social issues. Like I forgot their names, but this girl is struggling, like she's a victim of sexual assault. The other one is a victim of poverty, and the other one is struggling with his sexuality and his future, stuff like that. So they all like are going through different things. So yeah, it's a good show. I think it's important to watch, but like be mindful and like be prepared if you're going to watch it. Next one is I'm Not Okay With This. A teenager navigates the complexities of high school, family, and her sexuality while dealing with new superpowers. This one is also underrated. Netflix has a thing with canceling good shows. I don't know what's up with them, but like, yeah, they'd rather cancel good shows and produce more kissing booth movies. I don't know why. This show has a lot of potential. It has a good queer representation, and it's from the same creators of, what's that show again? Stranger Things. Same producers of Stranger Things and same director of The End of the Fucking World. So it has that vibes to it. Like, you can feel the similar vibes from those shows. But for me, this show is better than Stranger Things. That's just my opinion, y'all. Like, this show is very fast paced, and it only has like one season and only like, and not so many episodes too, and it's only like 20 something minutes. But even though you have like little content to indulge in, it's like enough to make you fall in love with the characters and the story and like be attached to it. So it's sad that it's cancelled, but anyway, moving on. Next one is Sense8, the story of 8 virtual strangers from all across the world who suddenly find themselves mentally and emotionally linked together and collectively haunted by a mysterious enemy. This show was required by one of my professors to watch and made us make a whole final paper for it. And it's a good show. It's really interesting and insightful. It's from the same creators of The Matrix, so it has that like complex futuristic like vibes to it. And I can tell that my blockmates were attached to the story and the characters, and they enjoyed it. And yeah, it's a really good show. It's interesting and it's really diverse since the characters are from all across the world, so you can see the diversity there. The next one is The Way of the House Husband. It follows an ex-Yakuza boss who retires from crime to become a house husband. This show is funny AF, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I think it's also based from a manga, and yeah, I've never laughed this much from a show. Like, this is how I literally described it from a previous video. Totoo lang, like this made me laugh, like literal na ha 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 coming out from my mouth. And it's also really wholesome. He's just this guy, very scary looking guy who loves his wife and serves his wife, and yeah, it's really cute and funny. And the animation is quite odd since it kind of looks like a PowerPoint presentation, but I think it adds to the funniness of it. Funniness. That's not a word, but let's go with it. Next one is Trese. In Manila, where dark supernatural forces pervade the criminal underworld, it's up to Alexandra Trese to keep the peace, but there's a storm brewing. I wanted to recommend this show because I think that the animation community here in the Philippines deserves all the love and support and recognition, and Trese was awesome. So I think that the whole world deserves to watch this show, and that we need more of this type of shows, this quality from our local creators. So yeah. So last but not the least is Toucan Birdie. However, Toucan Birdie has 2 seasons, but like only the first season is on Netflix. The second one is on a different streaming service called Adult Swim. So yeah, you can go ahead and watch it there. But yeah, Netflix canceled it, I guess. That's why they have to move. So anyway, Toucan Birdie explores the friendship between two 30-year-old bird women who live in the same apartment building. The former roommates separate when Birdie moves in with chipper architect Speckle and Toucan moves upstairs from them. This show is also very, very, very underrated. It has the same animator from BoJack Horseman, so you can see that the character design is similar, and like the world building is also quite similar. But Toucan Birdie is more on the nonsense, artsy, comedic side, if that makes sense. But it also tackles important issues, serious issues, mostly concerning women, since the creator of the show is a woman and two of the leading characters are women. So yeah, it tackles issues like sexual assault in workplaces and also about being an adult. And the two main characters, Tuca and Birdie, they are very different from each other. Tuca is very extroverted, she's very loud and annoying, and she's very wild, while Birdie is definitely introverted and she struggles with anxiety, and she's like very shy and all that. And y'all, I've never seen a character whom I relate to so much, which is Birdie. She's like 100% me. The way she deals and experiences anxiety is like literally me. That's how literally I go through with anxiety as well. So yeah, that's like, I feel so attacked, Birdie. Okay, but yeah, anyway, those are all the shows that I would love to recommend to you, all of you. They are very fun and they deserve to be seen by everyone. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments what are your Netflix recommendations, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye 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 bye.